Why do we need fire? That's the first question we'll answer in the next 5 minutes. You know, one of the elements of God, meanwhile, God is not tangible. But you see, in order for mortals to be able to cognitively understand the person called Elohim, he tries to reveal himself through tangible realities. But God is immaterial, God is intangible. However, for man to be able to articulate the essence of God, he defines himself through tangible things. So the Bible says God is light. God is not light. But if he doesn't call God light, there's no way you can know God, because you know light. So because you know light, he uses light to define God. His ways are past finding out, because before light was, he was. So how can you define him by what he pre-exists? He existed before light was. So light is insufficient in defining his essence. But in order for you to understand who he is, he uses the characteristics of light to define a deity that cannot be approached. So the Bible said he dwells in light that is unapproachable. And another way God is defined, he said God is a consuming fire. So one of the ways by which Elohim was known in the world that was, not this world, because there was a civilization that existed before this civilization. The civilization that existed before this civilization was a civilization of spirits. There were no beings with corporal elements. The world and the realms were dominated by spirits. The first earth, before it was destroyed, the governor of that earth was Lucifer, the son of the morning. So the way spirits lived was to express different dimensions of God. So there are angels that are made of light. So the way they give witness to God is not by talking, it's by manifesting him. So when you see the God that is light, he is revealed through an angelic quadrant. And then there are other angelic quadrants that reveal God as fire. There are other angelic quadrants that reveal God as sound. So when they show up, you hear volumes of sound that you don't know their origin. The reason is because there is a constant vibration in the bellies of Elohim. So those angels give testimony to the God of sound. There are angels that give testimony to the God of fire. There are angels that give testimony to the God of light. Now, there was one of the princes of Zion that doubles as an angel of fire and as an angel of light. His name was called Lucifer, the son of the morning. But because of his rank in Zion, he decided to violate the government of God. So when God wanted to judge him, you know, the way you judge men is different from the way you judge spirits, because they live in different dimensions and they are made of different elements. So when God wanted to judge Lucifer, Lucifer is the angel of fire. So the Bible said you move to and fro in the midst of the coals of fire. He was of the rank of the seraphims, the burning ones. When God wanted to judge Lucifer, he now told him, you are a creature of fire, but I have superior authority over the elements. So in Ezekiel 28 verse 18, he said, I will cause that fire that is in you to come out from within you and burn you to ashes. So the being that was the custodian of fire was judged with fire. So every time fire appears in the demonic realm, fire torments demons. I want to show you why you need fire, so you know it's not about running in church. The way demonic entities were judged was by fire. So only the testimony of fire can remind them of the messianic judgment. So when a being of fire shows up, the first thing he does is that he reminds Lucifer of the realm he fell from, because he was the custodian of the fires of God. And the second thing he does is that he brings to him the judgment of Elohim that is upon him. That's why when a demon meets a man of fire, he begins to beg, because fire brings torment. So without the testimony of fire, your message is story, because the demons don't hear English. Spirit speaks spirit and life. So the first witness a man carries to have authority in the demonic realm is the witness of fire. That's why he said he maketh his angels spirits, but his ministers flames of fire. The reason is because if you can't judge a demon, you cannot bring kingdom to his realm. He will fight, he will rebel, and he will revolt. The only way you can bring the government of God to a territory is if you have the authority to judge the spirits in that territory. And one of the weapons of judging demonic beings is the testimony of fire, because they were judged with fire. You know, the wisdom of God is beyond human comprehension. Pastor, sit down. You want me to lose my message now? You know, this man has stature. If he stands away, because I'm flowing from the spirit. What I'm telling you, I didn't write it anywhere, and I didn't read it anywhere. All those things we were doing, I was not doing impartation, I was ascending, because my message is not in a textbook, it's in heaven. If we don't rise, we will lose. Our generation will be lost, and God will still be Elohim, because his name is I am that I am. So there's no past, present, or future. Everything is now. So 100 years can be cut off. God didn't notice. The reason God will notice is the texture of witness that generations bring, because our witness is like a delegation into the realm of the immortals, that we are also part of the agenda of God. We can be carrying out activity on earth, but there will be no delegation in heaven. So when the immortals begin to bring verdict and legislation, they can forget our generation, until a man stands and say, restore. Restore. 400 years can be in darkness, because there are no custodians on earth that can create a gangway between earth and Zion, and say even in this generation there's an assembly of men that are able to preserve the worship and the memory of God. There can be many churches, but there will be no territorial witness. And when the immortals begin to function, they don't function because our number is many. They function because we have a witness in the realm of God. That's why I say you have come to Mount Zion, the city of the living God. He's talking to you about a council of heaven, where God sits as king. He said there is the spirit of the just men made perfect, those who have departed from this realm. And he said there is a witness of the church of the firstborn. So without the witness of the church of the firstborn, a generation will be exempted from the immortal and eternal council and the council of Zion. And then you say we walk through time, and they'll say we didn't notice, because every generation is wielded to witnesses. That's why you hear in the days of John, there are many preachers. There were over 400 Sanhedrin, but it was called what? The day of John. John was the only one that brought witness to Zion. And if John was not in that generation would have been lost, because there was 400 years of darkness between Malachi and Matthew. There was no witness in heaven. The goal is not to be an apostle or a prophet. The goal is to be a witness. That's why he sent them. He said, go into all the worlds and disciple all nations. But how do you go? He said, as witnesses unto me. If you're an apostle and you don't have a witness, you are of the dark